very simple introduction on Amazon VPC. I'll go through the document and try to figure out what's the meaning behind it, because I think reading documentation it's kind of a skill that I have to develop. So I think this would be a better opportunity to enhance my skill in those areas. So let's start with what is Amazon VPC. With Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, you can launch AWS resources in a logically isolated virtual network that you have defined. So, why do we want to do that? Basically, when you launch a resource, let's say you are going to launch a printer in your home, you need to launch it in a way inside a network so that you don't need to connect to you don't need to connect a wire to your computer and printer each time. So let's say you want a scanner, then you have to go for another wire or some sort of cable management. So instead of it, you connect all the things to a network. So that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly why we have Amazon virtual private cloud, where it's an isolated virtual network that I can define for myself. So that's basically what they mean by you can launch AWS resources in a logically isolated virtual network that you have defined. Next, this virtual network closely resembles a traditional network that you are operating in your own data center. As I explained, it doesn't have to be a data center, it can be your own home. So, yeah, with the benefits of using the scalable infrastructure of AWS. Yeah, so even the network you can scale it, so you don't have to have define a minimum and maximum capacity of the network that you are going to get from AWS. It's a scalable network cloud. It's a scalable private cloud actually. The following diagram shows an example VPC. The VPC has one subnet in each of the availability zone in the region. Okay, EC2 instance in each subnet and an internet gateway to allow communication between resources in your VPC and the internet. So that's a really interesting take here. So you have they're basically defining what's in this diagram. So the VPC has one subnet. So this is the VPC, and it has one subnet in each of the availability zones in the region. So each availability zone has its own subnet, and inside the subnet there are instances, and an internet gateway to allow communication between resources in a VPC. So this is a VPC, and the VPC has an internet gateway which you can connect. So basically, as the name suggests, it's a private network cloud. So it's a private network. You need to connect to the internet. So how do you do that? You use the internet gateway. So I think that's for an introduction. Let's see how it goes, how I have time and all. Let's see.